The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico and Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning. I am Paige Clarke.
It's a beautiful morning here. It's light rain and about 66 degrees. And we're getting a cold front in, so the rain will be gone by tomorrow, I think, and we'll have a nice clear skies, so that's great. I'd like to remind everybody that I have a brand new Health Signals newsletter out, and the subject of this whole thing is really about, the difference and the changing things that happened. How we ate in the past and how we eat now is so different. So please pick that up. It's only $5 for each issue, $10 a month. Gets you the sessions on, the first and third Tuesday of
And keep
every
in
month.
mind, we collate information all month long to make these newsletters what many listeners have said almost they can't live without the newsletter. They really enjoy getting it, feel like they're staying on top of cutting-edge health science information.
Yeah, and of course it follows the stuff that we talk about on the show, so you can dig a little bit deeper and make up your own mind. Also remind you to pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, and the fulvic and humic acids are in there to get the good stuff in
And the bad stuff out.
That's right.
And we're taking your phone calls bright and early here, guys. Give us a call, 1-877-927-6648.
Today I thought we'd start with this large-scale study that proves the high-fat diet promotes health and longevity. We all know that we speak often about the mitochondria being the little power cells within our cells, and it's the thing that really plays a key role in our health and warding off our diseases.
That's right, because your mitochondria, which are the cell energy powerhouses in all of our cells, they're actually responsible for apoptosis. That's programmed cell death, and it serves as an important signaling molecule to help regulate your genetic expression. In other words, it helps us flip the switch. We know genes don't control our destiny, but our choices and lifestyles do. So you can have the gun at your head, whether or not you pull the trigger has a lot to do with these choices that you make.
Yeah, and of course what's happening today, a lot of our mitochondria is being damaged by the type of food that we eat, and not only that, also all these conditions of the light, how we're not getting the proper
electromagnetic
light.
frequencies that we're all swimming in. So once your mitochondria become damaged and dysfunctional, our energy reserves drop. And it leads to a lot of varieties. In fact, I would go so far as to say is the Neolithic diseases that we're all seeing and are surrounded with are actually expressions of mitochondrial illness.
Yeah, and it really did start with the Neolithic revolution, which is the start of agriculture. And slowly but surely we've been on the decline, and we've noticed really that the past 50 years have really been devastating because of all the additional things. It's not just the food anymore, it's the light, it's what's in our environment. The water is bad, the air is bad. We're not getting enough of what we need, and we're getting too little
or too much of the things we don't
need. Yeah,
so just to summarize, we know that mitochondrial damage is more than the norm these days. And, because we have a prevalence of processed foods, no one's getting enough natural sunlight, crucial, exposure to excessive toxins and our non-native EMF, which is probably my most passionate exploratory subject right now. I mean, these routers and cell phones and so forth are really all just throwing a big whammy at our mitochondria.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about some of the things that we know are actually good, and it really starts with the food.
Yeah.
a ketogenic diet. And do you know where we have the highest concentration of mitochondria in our bodies?
No, where?
Our hearts and our brains.
Brains makes sense. Yeah.
So think about it. We know that fats are good for brain health. We know fats are good for heart health. So that really makes a lot of sense.
And that goes along really with what's happening today. We see people with dementia, Alzheimer's.
How's that low-fat, high-carb diet working for us?
And then we see, of course, heart disease is the number one thing. And even though for the last 50 years, we've been promoting that what's bad for your heart is fat.
And we've got these so-called experts in the medical field that are telling people a low-fat diet is heart healthy and brain healthy, etc. And we've got all these people eating these low fats, not producing proper vibration and support. Mm-hmm. Fats are used for both vibration and for support of the cell membrane. And so what we've got degradation as we are literally cooking ourselves to death in these non-nanometer EMF waves that we are just blindly allowing our cities and states to implement. This has got to be a fight that we fight. So let's start with what we can do.
Well, first let's look at this picture of the, what 20 years ago you would say, don't eat this, this
Someone
is
would
bad
say,
for your health.
oh my gosh, you're horrible. But
right.
this
is actually what we need to eat, folks. I mean, this is pretty much my diet. It may be not the beef, it may be chicken one day, maybe fish another day.
Maybe a fish, right?
Yeah, it may be liver or hearts or kidneys, and all those things we know are good for us, and this is what I've been doing for the last decade, and it's working out pretty damn good.
I would say so, Nico, and so eating a high-fat diet, a low-carb, a high-fat, and a moderate, well-placed protein diet is the healthiest diet, and we know this now from lots of research because it helps to maintain our body's electrical system. Yeah. And that's what we are, is electrical beings.
And when your body's able to burn fat for fuel, your liver creates a water-soluble fats called ketones that burn far more efficiency than carbs, and thereby creating fewer reactive oxygen species, ROS, the secondary free radicals.
That's a really cool point and well stated there. I want everyone to think about that.
And the other
it's like it's a cleaner burning fuel. So when we burn carbs, there's a lot of collateral damage. When we're burning carbs, we're creating a lot of free radicals that are going and causing aging and so forth. When we burn ketones, we're burning a slow burning, efficient, clean fuel.
Yeah, it's a kind of an illustration that just popped into my head. Is I've been, my car, my truck, I should say, is something that's really dear to me. So I'm going to, give it the best fuel. Mm-hmm. But so I get fuel that has no soybeans in it, none of that ethanol. Mm-hmm. And because ethanol is what scars the inside of those pistons and really does damage, even though it burns and you can use it.
Now, how do you go about doing that?
Well, there's a gas station right near my house that has no ethanol in the premium.
I had no idea about that, Nico. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's that Citgo station down on 20th Street in West Bay.
Very cool.
Yeah, so your car just runs a lot better. It's the fuel that
does it actually say ethanol free, or how would you know that?
It says that. They have a sign out front saying the premium brand.
That's interesting. So choose a fuel that doesn't scar the inside of your tubes and pipes in your car, just like you shouldn't eat the foods, the grains and so forth that create glycation and scars and situations in our own arteries and pipes.
That's right.
Guys,
that's
it's
the
not
name of the
that
game.
hard. Let's pay attention.
Okay, we'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back. We're talking about mitochondrial health and how fat for energy is the way we want to go. There's an international study that confirms that fat for fuel is what we want to be looking at. And Dr. McCullough came out recently with a book called Fat for Fuel, and the book was actually peer-reviewed by over a dozen health professionals, but now there is actually a large-scale international study. It's called the Prospective Urban Rural Epidemiology, or PURE study.
PURE study.
And it adds further weight to the premise that high intake of healthy fats, especially saturated fats, that's the key word there, especially, boost your health and your longevity.
Yeah, and the research team recorded the eating habits of 135,000 adults in 18 countries, and this included high income, medium income,
levels,
and low income. And they followed the participants for an average of about 7 years. Those with the highest intake of dietary fat, 35% of the daily calories, were 23% less likely to have died during the study period than those with the lowest fat intake. So that's, and the low fat means about 10%.
That's right, and the rates of various cardiovascular diseases were essentially the same across fat intake, while strokes were less common among those with a high fat intake. Again, we can really understand that when our body uses from cholesterol, that healthy cholesterol, it takes and uses that to help make building blocks of healthy cell membranes, which every organ and gland is a building of comprised of healthy cell membranes.
Now, another thing, too, is that when they say at 35% of daily calories, that's not really high.
Actually, no, it's really not, because
So,
you're right. That's
just skirting
That's a moderate.
Yeah,
I would say that's maybe
some
moderate.
people can get in ketosis on that, but some people cannot. My diet probably 60-70% fat in calories, not in volume. So I think this is low, and I think the newer studies will prove out that the higher fat is even more protective. Remember, we're talking about healthy fat, animal fat here, from pigs and from cows, from chickens, things like that, not from vegetables or nuts.
I really think that when we start to take a look at returning to a diet that our genes adapted to for millions of years, whereas just the last few thousands, we've had all of these extra foods, it just makes life more simple.
Well, there's one illustration that I saw in the film, I forget the name of the film, but there was a football field. And we're saying, okay, now we're walking down the football field from 1 yard line all the way to the 1 yard line in the other one. And what the guy is saying, okay, this is, now we're primitive man and we're going along and we're moving along and we're past the 50-yard line, past the 30-yard line, we're going to the 20-yard line.
Almost in the end zone of the opposing team.
We're going in the last foot of that 100-yard line, and the last 3 inches is where we've been starting to eat the way we eat today, with the higher grains and things like that.
That makes me think of that picture of the primitive man, and it shows the man, it shows him getting more upright, and then all of a sudden the fat guy turns around and says, oh, wait a minute, I think we screwed up.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we got to understand that the way we grew up in the wild is the way we adapted. And when we start varying from this a little bit, it might be all right. We start really varying from that path. It's like giving your dog the food that isn't good for him, and pretty soon he has hip problems, dysplasia problems, and attention span problems. It becomes a bad dog instead of a good dog. And you turn that around and feed him its natural diet, and they all of a sudden they're not allergic anymore.
Same with Pottinger's cats.
That's right.
So, and my premise is we are Pottinger's cats.
Yeah,
we are those cats that are in that last generation of degradation, of inability to reproduce.
Yeah.
Reproduction in our species is more than 50% of young people are unable.
So in the 1950 was the last cool cat, I think, because we've been going downhill ever since.
Hey, let's talk about some other related news. It says a low fructose diet. Fructose is found in sweet veggies and fruits, and also processed food. So let's clarify that.
Lots in processed food.
Low fructose diet significantly reduces liver fat in mere days. In related news, another study finds a reduced sugar diet lowered liver fat by more than 20% in just 9 days. A reduction co-author Susan Norwilowski called unprecedented processed fructose found in soda, and that includes fruit juices, guys. Fruit juices are dead. The enzymes have long since expired unless you juice them yourself. And processed food is a major contributor to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD I call it, a condition affecting an increasing number of people, sadly children. And it's more than doubled in children because we have been marketed that these little juices in a box are perhaps healthy, or that a soda can be healthy on an occasion with a child.
Well, we know that the types of fruits we have today are much more sugar-laden.
I like the way you explain it, that an apple is really more like a crab apple.
Yeah, and if you eat a crab apple, I always like them, but you can't eat too many of them, which is a good thing. It's nature's natural way of stopping you. But remember, they'd be here for a few weeks in the fall. Do you know when sodas come about? All the time. They're not natural, folks. And the fruit juices that you drink in the springtime, even if it's a citrus, is not natural for you because it's made in China, basically. They come from China.
And you just made a great point. All the time. As a mitochondriac, following Dr. Jack Kruse's studies, probably over and above, overlay it, take it to another layer. Actually, that's a great lecture video, is Dr. Mercola and Jack Kruse speaking. You might want to Google that, guys, especially you, Matt. We were talking. But I really think what that is, one of the things that Jack teaches us is that we are a species with circadian and latitudinal, longitudinal mismatches. Yeah. We're eating bananas in the winter in Boston. It's not congruent. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and there's no season for sodas, like I said.
Right, exactly. And that's a Frankenfood altogether.
Yeah.
Not even really a food.
Yeah,
so
and that's in our
society
society so
food.
deep that we're not just talking about sodas. We're talking about those little dinners that you put in the microwave, things that are in cans and boxes, and it's just a horrifying thing when you know that the natural food, if you watch the Food Channel and see some of these people going to Europe and things like that, and the way the grandma is still cooking there, it's completely different than what's happening here in our consumer-laden society.
And it just is so hard for people that have been spouting out the ridiculous status quo or standard of care. Here you go. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease raises your risk for type 2 diabetes because the conventional advice that recommends a low-fat diet for type 2 diabetics. But this and other research refutes that strategy. On the contrary, a high-fat, low-carb diet has been shown to improve both your blood sugar and your blood lipids.
Yeah. So when we get back from the break, I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of the ketogenic diet and maybe cycling this into your, it's a good way to start the whole program. You might want to not jump on board completely, go to ketosis all the time.
And we'll introduce the concept of mitochondrial metabolic therapy, which is actually realizing that if we help our mitochondria be healthy, we can be well. Heal the cell, and we can be well.
I like your stinglets. We'll be right back, folks. Stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a call if you'd like.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Hygge TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Hygge TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
So we want to introduce to you the concept of mitochondrial metabolic therapy, which Dr. Mercola starts to develop in his book. And the idea is how implementing a cyclical ketogenic diet may help you address a wide array of ailments. And actually in his new book, there's a course you can follow which consists of 7 comprehensive lessons which teach you the keys to fighting chronic disease and optimizing your health and longevity. For example, if you or someone you love has cancer, it will augment any oncological treatment you might be undergoing. So mitochondrial metabolic therapy merges decades of his own research with the latest science on mitochondrial health, all which has been peer-reviewed. You know, he starts to say one of the things we could do is you can actually consider experimenting with a water fast.
Mm-hmm.
And
one of the easiest fasts to do, I think. Add a little lemon in there, maybe.
Yeah, I think with a water fast, they're saying just water.
Mm-hmm.
And in all his clinical experience, he has never seen a more effective intervention than multi-day fasts, where the only thing you consume is water and mineral supplements and no other food or drink. He had previously been opposed to fasting if one was already at an ideal body weight. However, he failed to realize that there is a metabolic magic, I like that, you know, like this, that simply won't occur in any other setting. So I think the power of from a metabolic standpoint is it truly gives all the organs of process in our body a much-needed rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So once you establish ketosis, you can cycle carbs back in at about 100 to 150 grams. So when we're talking about getting into ketosis, typically we're at about 50 grams, maybe as low as 25 grams of carbohydrates. But he says here you can cycle that in and out so that you can go back to 100 to 150 for a few days while you're working out or strength training or whatever you're doing, and then go back into it. But there is a lot of evidence for really, really benefits in this type of a diet.
Well, he does say this, Nico.
Okay.
This is important. One of the primary reasons that you want to cycle in and out of ketosis. Notice he didn't say static ketosis, which I think some people are doing, and that, particularly with women, I think might have create some mitochondrial or metabolic stress, thyroid stress. And the reason you want to cycle in and out of ketosis is because the metabolic magic we just mentioned in the mitochondria actually occurs during the refeeding phase, not during the starvation phase.
Right. The starvation phase, like you said, is the rest period. For everything. So then you feed it what it's supposed to have, and that's when the magic happens.
Right,
No
and
doubt
then
about
once
it.
you have established this, you can, like you said, go, can increase it back up to, say, 150. But no, we're not talking about having healthy carbs up at 400 and 500.
No.
Even in the
definitely not.
refeeding.
Even the good ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, too, just left me. So let me get back to these benefits then.
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
the benefits is weight loss, first of all. By, rebalancing your body's chemistry, you're going to kind of normalize, I would say. So you're going to be at the natural weight you would be if you're an active person.
Weight management becomes nearly effortless. Studies have shown a ketogenic diet can double the weight loss compared to a low-fat diet. I think this particularly is applicable, Dr. Mercola, with men. Not always as easy for women, and there's a lot of discussion forums on how women oftentimes have a longer ramp-up time till they see the results, and this has a lot to do with thyroid and reproductive energy. But
yeah, and what I was thinking about earlier was when we go on a ketogenic diet, you're having a longer period of fasting on a natural basis. So you have that naturally, that 8 or 10 hours while you're sleeping, but you also have that during the day. When I eat 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, I've got a big span in there where I don't eat, and that is my fasting period for that 10 or 12 hours.
let's take a comment here from Matt in Vail. He said he's been trying out Dr. Gundry's, I think that's from the Plant Paradox book that we had shared, Dr. Gundry's daily 24-hour fast the past few months for winter, just eating once per day. He trains hard, and he's not affected in any way whatsoever. That's great news, Matt.
Yep.
That's probably more the way our primitive ancestors were. They
Probably
really
so.
had to spend all day. They got up with the sun, and they probably spent all day trying to find something to eat.
Yeah, I agree. One of the biggest benefits of this type of diet naturally is reduced inflammation, and we know
Absolutely.
that all the diseases that we pretty much speak about are inflammatory diseases, and this starts again with the food and all the pollution that we have.
And it talks about the reactive oxygen species again. That's really hitting me. You know how you have those aha moments because I've been reading about things, and I think that many times you can find out some of your SNPs and how you handle free radicals, and this could be very much a reason that some people produce way more inflammation because some of these SNPs are not functioning, and perhaps adding certain things you can reduce that reactive oxygen species stress. But why not just get right to the diet and take the load off?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
I like
and in
it.
the ketogenic diet, pretty much proven that there's a reduced cancer risk, but there's other benefits like muscle mass. So you increase your muscle mass, which is really important, and especially as you get older, and it tends to level your insulin.
Right.
So, insulin spiking is really what messes up all our hormones and, of course, takes us out of fat burning. A really important thing.
Here's one that should be the most important. Go ahead.
Yeah,
the
mental
reduced
clarity.
cancer
Oh,
risk.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the reduced cancer risk should be appealing to pretty much everyone, being that 1 out of 2 people, 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women may have a cancer challenge in their lifetime, because while all cells, including cancer cells, can use glucose for fuel, cancer cells lack the metabolic flexibility to use ketones. So if you survive on a ketone-rich diet, it's just going to make it a little bit harder for those guys to hang around.
Yeah, and cancer is everywhere, folks. I mean, everybody knows people with cancer. So, I mean, that's a statement right there. It's going to increase your longevity. It's going to give you a nice, clear mind. That's the beautiful part. Remember, all this violence, all these crazy things that are happening in our society, I do believe it comes down to our environment and the food. People are going nuts. They snap. And this is not a natural state for us to be in, because our species will not survive at this rate. There's too many nutty people out there.
I'm with you, and I like the final one, which is increased longevity.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the words. It's not that we want to live long, increase our lifespan. We want to increase our health span. Do we not agree? There's lots of people that are living longer. Conventional medicine cites the fact that we have a lot of people living longer, but they're living longer on 12 drugs. They're in ACLFs. They're, on, assistance to use the bathroom. They need assistance to walk. That's not living. We want to increase our health span and longevity. And one of the reasons you can survive a long time without food is due to the process of ketosis. And this spares protein breakdown. So it's a fairly consistent effect seen in people on a ketogenic diet, is that the blood levels of leucine and other important amino acids and structural proteins go up. And it kind of keeps you well built. So let's realize that really when we start to get more towards our natural diet, which is a ketogenic diet, we're going to see a lot of improved health benefits.
Yeah, and, if you follow us, you know that we've been doing it. And, of course, it takes a little experience getting used to what's going on. But once you get the hang of it, I mean, the food is easy. It's easy to cook. And it's kind of pleasurable to cook and feel good at the same time, and knowing that you're doing the right thing. So jump on board, everybody. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show. So
before we go to that, Nico, I want to make a comment. When we were just reviewing the importance of fat in our diets, I want to take it another step. It is my belief that the diet that is ideal for us is what I'm learning from Dr. Jack Kruse, and that's an paleo ketogenic type of diet. And where many of the people, we showed that picture of that piece of prime rib, but Jack would tell you that's subpar. That's in the middle. I mean, the real place to get your food, what we need to be eating excessive amounts of, are starting with shellfish, the oysters. This is, when I say subpar, this is the foods we want to eat, but it's after we're getting plenty of the shellfish, the crustaceans, the high-fat fish, and then finally the organ meat. Then we get to skeletal animal meat.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. This is our society is really not geared to that hard to find stuff, but the good news is most of those cuts are inexpensive. So you can really go to the butcher and say, hey, you got
I want the fatty cuts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a kind of an upside down world.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make that point, that we thrived and we grew a big brain and we got smart by moving to the coastlines and getting in shallow waters where we could open up these shells. And this is historically, and these are the things that are the most nutrient-dense foods, high in the vitamins A, the vitamins zinc, etc. So I want to encourage you to.
And also, I think about the seasons too. When our ancestors were eating that shellfish, and all of a sudden the salmon started to spawn in the fall. Boy, that salmon food that you could get and dry.
In the roe, the fish roe.
Yeah, the roe and all that stuff, so good for you. And now you're coming upon the winter time when you need all that stuff. So, I mean, Mother Nature is pretty good. But I wanted to get to this story, the action plan for averting the next flu epidemic. And this is important for me personally, because next week I'm taking off with my wife and we're going on an airplane. One of the last flights I may take in the next 20 years or so, because of the cosmic rays, because the big flu epidemic that's going on right now, and how do you safeguard yourself in an airplane? It's very hard. So we're going to double up on our amino acids. We're going to take much more Primal Edge.
You want to get a lot of vitamin C, natural vitamin C. Yeah. I mean, hey, this is the one time where eat a nice orange, because you can get the real, won't hurt you to have one. And I could suggest some Premier Research nucleotides, which are phenomenal. They're phenomenal to take beforehand, and they're actually marketed in the European Union as onset, which means they're phenomenal at onset. So if you have them, I believe that this cold that I caught, which is the first respiratory cold I've had in 13 years, and I think that's a testament to a natural health lifestyle. And I just think that the prevention is exactly right, and I know you're going to do the right thing. And
also, placement.
Wash your hands a
we're
lot.
on these airplanes, and we're going first class. We got some points, so it's going to be a nice trip for us. But, you know, usually when we're first class, we get on first. Then you have all these people filing past you that are sneezing and coughing on you. I'm telling my wife, we're going to wait till we're the last people on the plane. So we'll leave the last people
why not
on.
take a mask?
Masks are pretty
who
much
cares?
proven that the flu is not stopped by masks at all.
Well, you know
Very,
what
very
I would
little.
do? I would take a mask. I mean, I thought about this. Of course, I didn't do it when I went to Mexico, and I mean, I'm sort of paying for it, I think, a little bit. But why not put a little cotton ball of like a cell defense formula, essential oils. In the meanwhile, you're kind of creating your own little...
Yeah, put them in your nose and your ears and things like that where things happened.
Mm-hmm.
But, I basically wanted to say I don't want those people coming past me sneezing. I want to be the last one on the plane and the first one off the plane.
Well,
so that's
I
my
like
strategy.
So you got your seating going.
Yeah,
You're
so we
smart.
got our seating going. So there's a lot of things that we can do, and with the new epidemic, they're really saying this is a type of epidemic that could mimic what happened in 1918.
Oh, yeah, well,
So
it's
the big
designed
scary.
to be that
Yeah,
way.
so
Nico.
everybody
It's
gets your
designed.
shot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's designed to be that way. An action plan for averting the next flu pandemic. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. When you start to understand and you start to look up at our skies and you realize the reason they're spraying us is to create already an immune system stressor. And then those that are most vulnerable and not prepared will then succumb to the follow-up, which is the bioweapon. That do not for 1 minute believe that these flus are accidental. They're on purpose, folks. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You can think I'm conspiratorial, or you can actually do a little research and you'll find this out.
So the reason I brought this article up, because it's kind of a mainstream article by the Wall Street Journal. Jonathan Quick wrote this, and they're really talking about, okay, what can we do? Is there anything we can do? And some of the things I think are valid, and some of the things I think pretty much stink. So our current flu eerily coincides with the 100th anniversary of 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, which killed
Eerily,
50.
there's no accidents, guys. The people that plan this, there's always a numerological reason. 18 and 18, there's a significance there.
Could be.
1 + 8 = 9, it's completion, see?
Yeah, well, we can go through numbers, but let's go through this. Despite medical advances, we are just as vulnerable today to the flu epidemic as we were centuries ago. I would say more so, because I think the food is worse than when 1918. 1918 wasn't a particularly great year because we were in the middle of the greatest war ever, but it's the conditions of the food were a lot better, I think. Maybe this is where the dip happened. Maybe this is where the food kind of left us in 1918. Right now, we have abundance of food in America. We have enough to feed everybody, but is it the right food, and is it something that's going to help us against something like this? I don't know. I think over the last decade, I've had the flu maybe once, maybe twice, very, very mild. So I'm pretty happy with the place I'm at, but then traveling on an airplane
It's about a threat to the terrain.
Exactly.
And you're right, Nico, it really is about maintaining our terrain. Because why, going back to the plague, why did the graveyard thieves not get it? Well, they coated themselves in 5 essential oils, and they did not succumb to the plague. So those frequencies sent and supported the terrain or the immune system. Whereas when we do not support the immune system and our terrain is under stress, like what happens when you chemtrail people with toxins that are creating a stress to the immune system, you can create a situation where all the terrains are really under stress, and then these epidemics can grab hold. So it really comes down to trying to protect yourself, and it's really getting rather difficult based on what's going on in the skies.
Yeah. Of course, they're promoting everybody get a flu shot. They say you're going to be better off, probably about 30% better. You'll still maybe get the flu, but it probably won't be so severe, they say. I say the other way. I say don't get the flu shot. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor, but
I think homoprophylaxis is really the best way to protect yourself from a more severe flu by educating the immune system versus injecting yourself with toxins. There you go, Nico. Surgical masks aren't the germ barrier that people think they are.
Yeah. They really aren't. Not for the flu.
Yeah, it talks about Tamiflu, Relenza, and other antiviral drugs are modestly effective, especially when taken early by individuals at high risk of flu complications.
It's more bacteria
that's where it's much healthier to take nucleoimmune or something like that that's a olive leaf extract viral neuter. Basically cuts it off.
Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Achievers rise above the rest, and when they see an opportunity, they take action. Massive action. Achievers capitalize on every resource in order to experience success at its absolute max. And on Wednesday, January 31st, from 5 to 6 p.m., I'll share with subscribers of Mastering Probability how to achieve even more success with the extraordinary tools that I use to call the markets. These tools predicted the Ebola 2015 stock market bottom, the December 2017 gold bottom, and why subscribers added to their mining positions this month as well. Learn the pattern that projects the Dow's next upside target of 30,740. Folks, great moments were born from great opportunity. So don't miss this opportunity to take advantage of my 30-day money-back guarantee for Mastering Probability. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Sign up today and reserve your spot for the ultimate subscriber event.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
About the flu, but we're going to switch over to the secret behind one of the happiest countries in the world, which happens to be...
let's get some good news with all this flu and chemtrailing and
so
EMFs.
we're talking about Denmark. And they have this thing in Denmark called the Hygge, which is really a safe space kind of thing.
It describes comforting, pleasurable experiences, and whether it's cuddling up with a cup of hot cocoa or lighting candles and eating a favorite food, it's one of those untranslatable words that magnifies the idea of just being at peace.
Yeah, and he says in this article, and this was written by Eugene Sergev, he says that in America, we do things a lot differently. We usually get together for a reason. In other words, a football game, watch a hockey game, have a picnic or something like that. But in Denmark, they just have this Hygge that goes on all the time. Let's just hang out. Kind of like we did as teenagers.
They're just meeting up with no restriction on time.
No restriction on time and no reason except you want to be with people that you like in a place that you like, and that's healthy.
And being present. I like that word.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a tough word right there today, because that's just really what you don't see.
Yep.
If you look at people gathered in America, their heads are cocked at a 35-degree angle,
that's true.
and they're into their own little circles there. And I think that's something that we need to take a look at. This societal way of life, loosely defined in English as coziness, gained popularity around the globe, but with Denmark regularly ranking as one of the happiest countries in the world, it's no surprise that those beyond its borders are turning to Danish culture for insight on how to elicit their own happiness.
So what they suggest here, there's a few things that we need to do, and the first thing is support homemade. In other words, make things at home, be at home, make your home a comfortable place. Turn off your technology. Being in a safe, friendly environment means no technology. You're hanging out, your friends. Another thing here they say is, Paige? Get caffeinated.
Right, well, after turning off the technology, which I think is really crucial right there, they say get caffeinated. The Danes love their coffee, and nothing feels better in the cold than a warm cup of coffee in your hands. They escape the city center's crowded pedestrian shopping streets by wrapping up in blankets, sitting on balconies at the top of these little cozy coffee shops, and they get lost in the book-filled rooms and start having conversations. It seems like it's just accepted that this is just a good thing for you to do.
Yeah, and the last thing they say in here, well, the last two things. First, I'll seek out nature. And if you look at the country of Denmark, you realize it's probably the size of, New Jersey? Mm-hmm. This is a whole country. And they do have green spaces in there, and they make sure that people go to these green spaces. So it's really important. And the other thing is indulge. Have a piece of candy, have some chocolate, have a little whatever you like with your coffee.
Whatever you do, do it without guilt.
Yeah.
Because, that's really the message you're sending. If you're going to have that occasional sweet treat or something, then enjoy it guiltlessly.
Yeah, and I think that this is really the message that I want to bring across. The secret behind being happy is really having your own space, shutting down the media, selecting your friends and family. We don't have choice about family, but you do have choice about friends, and family, and most of the time, is a great place to
That's
be,
right.
for sure.
That's right. And it really is. I just had my grandson's birthday. We gathered last night, and I was sitting there thinking about how wonderful it is to have people that you love close by to gather together. One of our family members has recently moved to a more rural area, and she was home. And I really was able, as much as I fantasize a little bit about being out of all the chaos, I also can see the other side of it, of how we've become so used to having people, places, things, and distractions all around us that if we get a little too out there, we can feel lonely. So there's got to be a balance.
Yeah, you have to have your friends, but alone time is just as important. I always revel in my alone time.
I do too. Hey guys, we had to move along now, so we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for sticking
Primal
around.
Lifestyle. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.